Self-improvement in this space is broken, but it shouldn't be this way because self-improvement is a fundamentally good thing which I think that every person should be on. It gets somewhat of a bad name because of associations with people like Andrew Tate and hustle culture, but I think it's a beautiful thing that stands on its own. People talk about waking up at 5 AM and having cold showers and a million different things, but I believe in things that are more practical that everyone can do without fail. So many people consume content that ruins their mental health and leaves them feeling as confused as they were before. My methods will make your life more fun and rewarding straight away. And I have an approach which is likely that you've never seen before. This comes from my Doomer to Bloomer course, my entire self-improvement guide, which you can find in the description. The focal point of my method is having experiences and challenges that build you up and make you into a man of character. This is why I find hustle culture such a one-sided view to self-improvement. Things like traveling, having things regularly in your social calendar, and having experiences I think is fundamental to the human experience. This gives you an interesting life and it gives you that desire to want more and strive rather than being locked away and grinding on some obsolete tasks. And having big experiences or challenges makes you set your sights higher in the future. It makes you want to pursue more discomfort in the future and it increases your barrier to fear. I also think we should continuously pursue new endeavors that make us uncomfortable. When I was 12, I first signed up for boxing. After a year, I had a fight and I went on to have over 30. Now I have loads of stories about the fights that I had and I don't fear confrontation. I can also walk into any boxing gym almost around the world and hang with the guys my way and get respect in that way. Another example is a few years ago I started DJing casually. At university there was DJ clubs and everybody wanted a DJ for their parties. This made me work harder at it and it meant that I could perform live at these places and have that cool experience. Therefore, setting yourself little challenges and then incrementally making it harder gives you big results. Now let's get into the practical steps which I outline in my guide. The two things you need to pursue are individual purpose and universal purpose. Now, universal purpose is the things that make everyone feel better and everyone can relate to. For example, 99% of people feel better in the sun, so getting more sunlight is part of your universal purpose. Things like exercising daily and speaking to people, having that social connection, it's things that we all need in our life. Now, not everyone is the same and there's things that are specific to your individual goals. This is where your individual purpose comes in, so you need to discover what things that you like and what things you want to grind towards in your life. You also need to be getting closer to your dream life day after day. So the universal purpose would be that everyone could benefit from exercising, but the individual purpose is that not everyone might benefit for signing up to a boxing fight, like some old lady, she's gonna get punched up. But the things that everyone can do are universal purpose, and I break that down into 3 steps. The first part of this, which I think everyone could benefit from, is discovery and experience. This is things like traveling, having fun experiences, but also knowing your local area and areas around you. So many people today are isolated, barely leave their room, and aren't experiencing the world around them. This takes away our primal need for adventure, exploration, things that are lost, especially in our adult lives. So my first action step is to go on a 20-minute or more walk each day. I like to do this in the morning after I do my first work task and have breakfast. It's a good way to get fresh air, get some sunlight and your steps in, but also it's just good to engage with the world around you. You'll find that when you're in your stressful environment where you work or do other things that your mind is never fully calm. You're surrounded by distractions and thoughts that degrade your mental health and ultimately take away from your presence. When you're in nature or just outside period, it's a lot easier to have clear thoughts and clear your mind. It's also a great practice of mindfulness, and when you come back to your usual environment, you'll have a clearer head. It doesn't matter where you walk, and I don't suggest having a fixed route. I like to just go wherever I feel like going that day. It opens up this exploration element because you don't know what's there. You're thinking, oh, I'll go this way for whatever reason, and yeah, it's just a nice thing. The second action step I give is a bit interwoven with the previous one, and it's to explore your city or town. Now, if you live in a big city, you have a golden opportunity to explore. So most people will have the same fixed places that they go. They don't go to different places. They go to their school or work, the gym, maybe a few restaurants. Because of this, they rarely venture outside their comfort zone to new places. If you've ever played games like GTA or Skyrim, you'll know that at the start, the map is quite empty, but the more you travel, the more things you unlock and the more places you can go. You should take this wisdom and apply it to real life because it works the exact same way. In cities, there is so many businesses, activities, and things to do that people just don't consider because they don't go out of their comfort zone. You should take it upon yourself to fill out this map and know everything that's going on around you. Go to all the parks that you've never been to. Try a bunch of new bars and restaurants that you've never been to. Go to random leisure and activity spots. Things like arcades, ice skating, food halls, nature spots. You need to change your attitude towards fun. You need to stop looking for things to provide you fun, like your mate calling and saying, do you want to go out tonight? Basically every location that exists is an opportunity to have fun, you just have to seek it out. So continue exploring, talk to people everywhere you go. When you do this, you become the person that knows all the cool spots, knows how to have a good time, and if you talk to people everywhere you go, you're going to have a bunch of connections. If you're from a small town like me, you might be thinking that you're not going to find anything and there's nothing to do around you. I'd argue that this still works all the same. Even though there might not be as much interesting stuff, still knowing your environment is handy. You never know what you're going to come across, and either way, it's still nice to enjoy the simplicity of nature and the outside. Side note, you can also do this with other cities. It's likely the cities a 20-minute train, definitely within an hour train ride of you. You can usually get tickets to these places for less than £5. Now, you just need to do the same thing there that you've done for your own city. Take it upon yourself to find out where all the cool spots are, enjoy it, engage with the locals, ask them their favourite spot. Knowing all the cities around you, it makes you knowledgeable and it makes for a fun, spontaneous adventure if you can just say, oh, let's go to this place. And another part of discovery is travelling and going to events around you. Things like music festivals or even cultural festivals are a great experience which I think everyone should have. For no other reason than they're fun. It's what life is about. While purpose mainly comes from your own individual mission, which I'll get into later, also having these moments of enjoyment and celebration with others is the heartfelt memories which really matter. An idea of hustle culture is that you should work as hard as possible, save up loads of money, and later you can enjoy it more. I don't fully agree. I think the way to go is to work hard and build yourself up while having these fun experiences and cherishing them. If you get my guide, I have really specific steps about how to travel, how to find events near you, and how to do things that are fun and enjoyable. The second part of universal purpose is doing things which nurture your body and your mind. It's the typical self-improvement habits that you've probably heard of. Exercise, diet, meditation, reading, good sleep. The ultimate point is to try and increase the amount of good habits that you're doing and decrease the amount of bad habits that you're doing. Bad habits are things like scrolling social media, using drugs or alcohol. You probably know instinctively what is a bad habit. It's something that feels easy, gives you a reward in the short term, but makes your life worse in the long term. So to help you with this, you're going to download a habit tracker. You can either use one from the App Store, you can make one on paper, just make sure you can write down the habits that you do each day. You're going to write down a list of good habits. Now over time, these will become more individual to you and what you want to work on getting better at. I'll give you some examples to be getting on with. Daily exercise. I don't give a fuck if it's weight training, yoga, cardio, just some daily movement to get you active. In addition to this, 30 minutes of sunlight, 10 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of meditation. I'll also include your most important work task, and I'll talk more about how to find that work task later. You should also do the inverse of this for the bad habits. So this is things like having less than 1 hour of screen time on your phone a day. This could be no sugar if you're trying to clean up your diet. Over time, this will get more personal. You can add more good habits specific to you and more bad habits specific to you. You should also take it upon yourself to make the good habits as easy as possible and make the bad habits as hard as possible. I'll give an easy example, junk food. Say you struggle with eating it. The thing to do would be to not buy it from the supermarket. That way, it's way harder for you to order it online or go out specifically to buy it. If you do have junk food in the house, put it in a faraway location like a top cupboard that's harder to get to. If you're trying to eat more fruit or veg, have it out in the open where you can see it. Maybe get a blender if you really struggle to eat those things in food form. That way you can still get it into your system. I'll show you something that I do to make a habit easier. Every day I take creatine, but it's hard to remember to take it every day. And so when I'm brushing my teeth, I have a cup and I have creatine. I mix the creatine with water and drink it right after I brush my teeth. Making something easier like this makes it 10 times more likely that you'll actually do it. I believe that the worst habit that we face today is phone use. So many people are badly addicted to their phone, with average screen time being around 5 hours per day. I don't need to go into detail about how overusing your phone fucks up your presence and your mental fortitude. I'll give you quick action steps. Set the screen time widget on your phone so that you know how much you're using your phone each day. The apps that you're using the most, delete them. You might see that you're spending an hour on TikTok every day. That's 7 hours a week you're getting back. That is so valuable, and you really need to be spending that time doing something more productive. Deleting apps like this is the best way to drastically reduce your screen time. You'll find that probably deleting 2 or 3 apps will save you 2 to 3 hours per day. You should also disable notifications, especially when you're working. When you're working, that is your time to focus. You don't need to be hearing ping every couple of seconds. Even when you're not working, it should be your own decision when you're trying to consciously respond to messages and do other things on your phone. You're never going to be fully there if your brain is half expecting a notification to go off. Again, in my guide, I give a full breakdown of the exact phone settings that I have that lets me have a screen time less than 1 hour per day. The final part of universal purpose is social connections. We've uncovered the adventure and the habit side towards universal purpose. But the final thing is socializing, something which is massively lacking in a lot of other people's self-improvement routines. I would argue that the biggest determinant of quality of life is the quality of your relationships. We see this all the time with Hollywood celebrities. You can have all the power and success in the world. If you're not right in your head and if you don't have good friends and people around you, you're going to go off the rails. On the other end, some people feel totally lost. They have nothing but good friends and good family, and they can get through dark times, and it might even be enjoyable because even though they don't have much, they have people around them supporting them. Friendship, I would say, is the most important part of this. Friends are your social circle. It's who you experience life with and go through challenges with. Similar friends, you'll have good missions and beliefs, and you'll build yourselves up together. Having a good close-knit group of friends is very important, as these are the people you can call upon at any time. You've probably heard sayings like your network is your net worth, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and all of these things are true. Therefore, it's important you surround yourself with goal-striving, ambitious people like yourself. So those are close friends, but there's also something said for having more shallow connections everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you should be trying to talk to people and get to know people. This means that when you're at the gym, you should have some casual conversations, ask people some questions. Because I'm at university, a lot of people play sports, and people come in with their sports jerseys. They might have men's football, women's tennis, women's volleyball. It's very easy to say, oh, I've never played that, what's that like? To do this well, you need good social skills. I recommend reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a god tier book, and I can't recommend reading it enough, especially if this is something that you want to work on. Like I said, in every environment you go to, you should be talking to people, and these won't be as meaningful as a connection as your close friendship group, but still having that shallow connection is valuable. Another section to social connections is your dating life. Now, dating might be the main area of focus in the self-improvement space. There's so much pick-up artist game voodoo out there, which I think is mainly bullshit. This is because dating is individual to each person. So rather than giving you some method, I'm going to tell you that dating is like a skill. The more you do it, the more you get better at it. You can become more confident at speaking to the opposite sex, at escalating things. Over time, you'll find out what you like in a partner and what you can do to improve as a partner yourself. I'm not a dating coach, and this is a very broad topic, but I'll give you some things you can actually work on. Become comfortable having non-sexual conversations with the opposite sex. This will make you better at general conversations and just more comfortable in general. Be playful and be better at having interesting, fun conversations that are engaging to be a part of. If you're a man, be the one to take the initiative when it comes to dates and planning. Find out what you need from a partner. That is the reason that we get with people in the first place. When your needs are fulfilled, it's easier to put your energy into things like work tasks and things that actually provide value. Ideally, you want to be with someone compatible to your goals. If you're really into fitness and it's the thing you really like talking about, it makes sense that you have a partner that was also interested in fitness. They don't have to be obsessed with it the same way that you are, but if they understand it, you can have conversations and make sure it's something you have in common. Relationships are reciprocal, so if you want to receive good care, you should give good care to the other person. Get to know the things that they like and enjoy and do them for them without asking. One thing I love to do as soon as it starts to get slightly serious with a girl is to get her flowers. A lot of girls haven't received this, so it makes you stand out. I don't think you should do this too early, as it's quite a grand gesture and you should build up to it, but once you do, it's a great thing to do. Like I said before, dating is very individual and you have to find what works for you. If you like using dating apps or if you like meeting people in person, you should figure out how to do this. Likewise, when you're in a relationship, you have to evaluate what your problems are, how you can work through them, like you would with your business or your own self-improvement. Some of the most fulfilling times of my life have been when I've been in a relationship. A meaningful relationship can really take your life from good to great, so don't underestimate the value of relationships. The last part of social connections is your family situation. Your family is your base of support and belonging. Whenever anyone has psychological issues, it almost always stems from their family history. Therefore, if we have a great relationship with our family, it makes everything easier in our life. Like I said before, you give as good as you get, so you've got to be the one to initiate this good relationship. Spend time with your parents and other loved ones from the family and make sure they know that they're appreciated. Sit down with your mother and ask her questions and stories. This will make her so happy and it will make you feel valuable because you provided so much value to her. Call and message your family from time to time, know what they're getting up to and know what they're going through in life. I think every family should have a WhatsApp group where they can talk about all the things going on and send videos. Have get-togethers as often as possible where you either go out to a restaurant or do an activity. Even if you're just at home, cook a big meal for everyone or get a takeout, play some music and talk. These things are awesome for building a good family connection. So building a good relationship with your family is the final part of social connections. That right there is a snippet into my course and your intro into universal purpose. This may be something you haven't considered before and I hope I was able to give you some fresh insights. I will be covering individual purpose in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. I upload content like this weekly, so subscribe if you resonated with it. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, bow.